In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Canva to edit your YouTube videos. And if you're new to video editing, I've got you covered. This video is for you. I'm going to put a link in the description below, or you can head over to canva.com and either create a free account or log in if you already have an account and follow along. When you open up Canva, it doesn't matter if you're a paid user or a free user. You want to look for the video icon that's going to be in pink. It should be in the same spot for both of you. Go ahead and click on that, and then you're going to look for YouTube video. And if you don't see YouTube video in any of these places here that are showing, simply come over to this little arrow on the right and click on that and go find it. Sometimes it moves around. Once you find it, click on YouTube video 1080p, and it's going to take you into the canvas area and the timeline. But before we get into this, there's a couple of things that you need to do. Number one, I like to go over to design and click on design, and it's going to center up the canvas area, which is this area right here. Number two, if you look down here at the bottom where you're going to actually put your video, this is where your timeline will go. If your timeline is in the center, I find that it's easier to put it over to the left. And you do that by clicking on duration, and it's going to snap everything over to the left. Now, these little areas are called pages inside of Canva. I don't know why they call them pages. Maybe it's because this is built off of a graphic system. I don't know. It's kind of a weird name, but that's what they call them. And you can add as many pages as you want by clicking the arrow, and it's going to keep adding pages. This is where we're going to drag and drop your videos. But before we get to that, there's a couple other things I want to show you. Go over to the right-hand side and hover over Zoom Page. Now, if Zoom Page shows, you can go to the slider and you can zoom your actual canvas area in and out, just like this. However, if you click on it, it's going to say Zoom Thumbnails. And what you can do then is stretch out the timeline. So once your videos are down here and you need to expand this area to do more precise editing, you're going to do it here. You can also grab this little line right here and move things up or down. So if you start getting into more complex editing by adding a bunch of layers in your timeline, you can adjust this. That comes in handy. But for this video, we are going to keep it simple because it is for beginners. Now, next to the scroll over here, you're going to see the scroll view, which I don't use for this. For video editing, you've got the grid view. You can also go preview full screen if you want. Now, if you look over to the left, you'll see you have templates. You can use these templates, you can use them for free, but take note that some of them have a crown with a pro tag on them. That means that the only way you can use this is if you have a paid Canva account, Canva Pro. If you don't have Canva Pro, you need to look for a template that doesn't have the pro tag. So let's just grab this one here randomly. I'm going to tap on it, it's going to add it right in here. Alternatively, I could have grabbed it and pulled it onto one of the pages, but I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is focusing on editing your first video in Canva. But I do want to show you that all of these templates that you pull in, you can select the text and you can edit the text. You can grab them, you can move them around, you can change the fonts, you can change what they say, you can put whatever you want in here, change it however you want. You can do that here with any of the templates. We can dig into this in a future video. So let's get rid of this and pay attention here because you are going to use this feature a lot. Look up at the top left, you're going to see the undo arrow. It's a little back arrow here. Now it comes with a keyboard shortcut as well. You can use keyboard shortcut or you can tap on it here. That's what I like to do. So I'm just going to click on this until we're back to the very beginning, which is right here. Then I'm going to click on this little arrow and we're back to where we started. Now let's get your videos into place. Go to the Uploads tab on the left-hand side, and you're going to see an option to upload images, videos, or audio. Now you can upload the files directly from your computer or your hard drive, or you can record yourself directly into Canva by connecting your microphone and your camera, and it's going to record directly into Canva. Now, I don't do that. I upload the files. And I've already uploaded a couple of videos because it can take a little bit of time to upload the videos depending on your upload speed and how large of files that you're actually trying to upload. I also uploaded an audio clip. You can put all of these here. Put your images here, put your videos here, put your audio clips here. And once you're ready to start editing, pull the video clips into your timeline onto the pages. I'm going to pull this one down. And I'm going to hit stop here so you don't hear my voice speaking. And you can see what I just did. I just pulled this clip down onto the first page. Now, I could edit that if I wanted to, or I can add more clips to the pages. This little section down here is where you would add a page. So I can go back and I can get the next clip that I want, and I can pull it down to that section as well. Now I have 2 clips. I'm going to zoom back here. And I could keep adding clips and keep adding clips and keep adding clips until I have all of my footage into the timeline. Now that you have your clips into the timeline, let me show you how to do cuts, how to edit here. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this, 2 to be exact. Number 1, have a look at this little black vertical line here. This is your playhead. You can grab your mouse, you can click on this, and you can pull it to anywhere you want, and you have an option. You can go up to the top where you see this split page, and you can click on split, and it's going to separate the page. And if you want to delete one, you highlight it, and you can click delete on your keyboard, or you can come up top and hit the trash can icon, and it's going to delete that. Alternatively, if you hover over the clip, let me get the playhead out of the way. If you hover over the clip, and this only works for the beginning and the end of the clip. If you hover over, look at the little gray handle that shows up on this side, and again here at the end. You can highlight that, and you can select that, and you can pull the clip back. A lot of mobile video editors are similar to this. So you can find the place that you want to start it and stop it, and you can do this at the end as well. Now, I'm not actually editing my video for the sake of this video because that's a little bit of a lengthy process, but I'm showing you the tools so that you can edit yours. So once you have your clip edited, and essentially what you're doing is you're going to make sure that when the video starts, you're speaking. So one thing I like to do is I like to look for my lips moving, and I wait till the point where I'm getting ready to open my mouth. Let me zoom in a little bit to get this a little tighter. And if you see this spinning down here because you're doing everything on their servers, it means it needs a little bit of time to catch up. So I'm going to wait till my lips start to move. I'm going to make sure it's highlighted, and I'm going to split this. I'm going to get rid of that clip. So now if someone were to press play, I'm going to start speaking right away. Here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make, and you do not want to make these mistakes because I already made them. Okay, I obviously made a mistake there, but again, I'm not editing my video. I'm just showing you how to edit yours. And I'm going to go through all of my clips, and I'm going to edit everything out that I don't want. Essentially, you're going to trim the fat. Cut out anything that you don't want, so the only thing you're left with are clips that are good. Now, when you're editing multiple clips and you have the same shot, here's one clip, here's another clip. These are 2 different clips, but I'm in the same position and nothing has changed here. You generally don't want to put a transition between these 2, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. In the event that it was a different location or a different shot, for the sake of this tutorial, let me pull another clip in here and just put it right there in the middle. So now we have 2 different locations, and I'm going to give you 2 tips here that are going to come in handy since you are new to video editing. Clip number 1 is significantly different than clip number 2. And you'll also notice that my eyes are in a different location. The second clip, my eyes are up a lot higher. So I can either change this clip or I can change this clip. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to change this clip. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to double click on the clip that I want to enlarge. And what you're going to see is in the corners, you have little handles. If you grab a handle and pull it, you can enlarge it just like this. And you see that it has some lines showing up. This is called the rule of thirds. You can go down the rabbit hole on this. But one thing you want to do if you're making cuts is do your best. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but do your best to try to get your eyes to line up in the same position between the cuts. So we're going to put it about right there. Again, I'm not looking for perfection here, just close enough. So now we have, I'm a little bit higher, but it's still a little bit off. So now I'm going to adjust this one. I'm going to highlight that clip. I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to enlarge. Great freeze frame. I'm going to enlarge this until my eyes are about in the same position. I'm looking at this line here. Right there, close enough. Now, if you go from one to the other, and I'm going to hit play, it's a smoother transition, even with the hard cut, because the eyes line up. There's something that happens psychologically that if the eyes aren't matched, if they're too far apart, rather, I'm not going to say that they're not matched, but if they're too far apart, it can be a little bit jarring. Starting with mistake number one. All right, now obviously the audio was wrong there, but the cut between the two, it just feels a little bit better because my eyes are in the same place. So that's something to keep in mind when you're editing. But what if you wanted something visual to move you from one clip to the next? Now, because I'm in this position and then I go to this position, it would make sense. But if I were sitting in the same place, the same purple background, if both clips were me sitting here, it doesn't make sense for me to use an actual visual transition, but it does here. So you can hover in the middle of the two. And of course, you could add a page or you can add transition. So if you click on Add Transition, it's going to add a transition panel over on the left. And if you hover over each one, it's going to show you what they do. Here's the transitions that you have. For this one, I'm going to do a simple slide. I'm going to click on it, and then it's going to give me some more options. I can choose the duration of the slide, so I can make it a little bit faster if I want, or I can make it a little bit slower. And I can also choose the direction. So if you want to use a transition, you can experiment with this, and this is where you'll actually do the transitions. But keep in mind, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let me get rid of this one. That doesn't make a lot of sense if you're in one place and then you're cutting and going right back into the same place. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to click on the transition here, make sure that the panels open up here on the left, and I'm going to click None. Now there's no transition between these two because I'm going from one place where I'm in the exact same position to the other place. The only thing I would do here is I would adjust my eye line between the two. So that's how you do basic cuts. Now, you see these little three dots that showed up here down at the bottom. This little, I think it's called an ellipsis. If I've got that wrong, leave a comment and let me know. If you click on that, you're going to get some options. Again, you have the option to split the page here. And it also tells you can use a shortcut. So if you hit S on your keyboard, it can also split the page. Alternatively, if you have a Stream Deck, you could program that so you could hit the key on the Stream Deck and it could cut it as well. But you can do other things as well here. You can duplicate the page, you can delete it as well, and it shows you the shortcut, copy, paste, etc. But we're not going to get into the details of all of this right now. I'm just showing you the basics of this as a beginner so you can get started without getting overwhelmed and edit your first video. That looks like
You got me.
Now, once you go through and you edit all of your clips and you're happy with the final version of the video, you have some options. You can add text to your video. You can add some elements like arrows or additional text. You can draw on top of it. You can add music. You can change your audio levels, etc. But what I'm going to show you how to do right now, first, is highlight the clip, come up to the top here to edit. And when you go to edit, you have filters, just like you would on a lot of social media apps. You can click on them, and you can go through and you can find different filters that you might actually like to use. Now, this looks purple, and I don't care for that, so I can click around, and I can try to find something that fits a little bit better, or I can choose none. Or I can choose a filter, and I can adjust the intensity to dial it down. So obviously this is too much, but if I dial it down a little bit, that might actually look okay. Now, you have another option here. If you don't want to do that, you can come up to Adjust. You can click on that, and it's going to give you more options. So let's start with the warmth, which is essentially the white balance. Let's say my skin's a little bit orange. I can move it to the left. Obviously, that's too far. But I can add it to the left, and it's going to take some of that orangish look away from my skin. If I were too blue, I might take it to the right. So I can back that off. I can adjust the brightness. I can adjust the contrast here. I can adjust the vibrance to put some color back, a little bit of saturation if I want. I can even add a vignette. So that's how you can go through and you can change what your clip actually looks like. You also have the option to extract your audio or adjust the volume. And if you have Pro, you can enhance the voice, and it's going to use AI to make your voice sound a little better automatically. You can also change the video speed. So this is an entire panel that you can get to by going to Edit that allows you to tailor your video to look however you want it to look and sound however you want it to sound. But what if you want to add text? I'm going to go to the text icon over on the left. I'm going to click on text. And they give you all sorts of templates here, and you can experiment with these as much as you want. I like to just add my own and keep it simple. I'm going to add a heading. And as soon as I add a heading, you're going to see that it places text on my video, and it also places the text down here in the bottom. So you have the handles, so you can grab it and you can move it like this. You can move it around down at the bottom. And you can also, let me click off and click back on here. You can also grab it and move it around. And when it comes to moving things around, if you accidentally grab your footage and you move it or something like that, remember you also have the undo option up here at the top. Because if you have a couple of things going on, it's easy to grab the wrong thing, but don't panic. You can just undo it and snap things back into place. So I'm going to bring this down at the bottom. And what is it I say again? I say, here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make. Here are 5 mistakes new live streamers make. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to write text. 5 mistakes new live streamers make. All right, so that's my text. And if you look up at the top, I can change the font up here. I'm going to use something bold, easy to read. And I can also change the size up here. I'm just going to click it down and I can grab, I'm going to click off and click back on. Then I can grab it and I can move it around and center it up here so it looks like this. I could also change the color. So if I didn't want white, I could change it to yellow if I wanted to, depending on what I was doing. But I'm going to keep it white. And then I'm going to have it show up when I say 5 mistakes. Here are 5 right there. So I'm just going to inch it over so it shows up right there. Here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make. Here are 5 mistakes new live streamers make. I just want it to show up right there. Here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make, and you do not want to make. All right, a little bit too long. Dial it back a little bit. And again, remember, you can come over here to the slider for zoom thumbnails, and you can really dial this in and go back to the scroll bar here to go back and forth. 5 mistakes that new live streamers make. All right, now, what if I wanted to animate this text as it came in? I would select the text. I would go to animate, and it gives me options to animate the text. And again, you can hover over these. I'm not clicking them. I'm just hovering over them, and it shows me what it will look like. Let's see what that looks like. Spread, clarity. I'm just going to go with typewriter. So I'm just going to select typewriter, and it's automatically going to choose typewriter. And I can choose, do I want it to animate on the beginning and the end, or only at the beginning or only at the end? I'm going to do only at the beginning. And you can also choose the speed. So this is how you're going to adjust your text. So it will look like this. Here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make. Okay, that looks fine. I'm happy with that. You can also go to effects up here. And with the effects, let me hover over this. With effects, you can do different things here to make it look a different way. So if I want the glitch look, you can change the offset, the direction. You can experiment with this and do whatever you want, but you can add some effects to give it some personality if you want. And if you have something that you want to draw attention to and you want an arrow or something like that, you can come up here to elements. And elements gives you all kinds of different things that you can drag and drop essentially. And they have some options up here, or you can search for elements, but I'm going to click on arrow, and I'm just going to put something in here for the sake of this video. If you have Pro, remember you can use the little crown icons here. Otherwise, you do have shapes. I'm going to just grab this one here, and I'm going to pull it right on top of my video. Okay, and right away you can see that that one is not transparent. I don't want that, so I could hit delete, or I can come back and I can undo it. Let's try this shape here. I'm going to bring this in, and I can reshape it here. Grab these little handles. I can make it longer if I want. And I can't really drag it from here, though I could spin it if I wanted to, but I have to click off and come back and select it. I don't know, that could just be my browser. I'm not sure if that's the same for everybody. And you can also come up here to the edit and you can change the color. You could also animate it. Right? Notice that they have different animations for different things. So the text have one set of animations and elements have a different set of animations. And if you look down in the timeline, you'll see that it put the arrow down into the timeline as well. So you can grab that, move it out of the way, put it wherever you want it to go. But I'm not going to use that, so I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to delete it. Now, I mentioned earlier about uploading audio. If you wanted to upload images, you would do it here. You would grab the images and you would pull it here on top. Or if you want to add audio, you would upload your audio and you grab it and you pull it down. And you'll see what happens. It pulls it underneath the video. So now I have an audio track down at the bottom, and I'm absolutely certain that this is going to be too loud. So I'm going to play it just for a second here. You see this spinning. My internet's really slow today. So I'm going to hit play. Here are 5 mistakes that, okay, that's obviously really too loud. So I'm going to make sure that's highlighted. I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to hit the audio icon, and I'm going to turn the volume way down. Maybe around 17. Let's see what that does. Here are 5 mistakes that new live streamers make. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Alternatively, if I wanted my voice to change a little bit, I could highlight the clip, or I could come up here to edit. Remember, we have the volume over here. You can also do things like right click and come up to extract audio. So if you're doing voiceover clips or something where you don't want to actually show the video, or you need to move your spoken voice out of the way, you can move it so it doesn't show up here in the video. And you can highlight that. You can go to the audio icon and notice here where if you went to 100 on the other side, it capped out. But once you extract it, you can increase it. You can make it louder. So I can make my voice louder here if I do it that way. If you were to do it, I'm going to the other clip here where I did not extract my audio. If you were to highlight that clip and go to edit, go to volume over here, it's capped at 100. But because we did the audio this way and extracted it, you can now go beyond 100 and make it louder. So that's a little tip. But once you have your video totally edited, what do you do with it? Really easy. You go up to the right-hand side to share. Click on share. And you want to hit download. Open up select pages. Remember, each clip is called a page. You want to make sure that all pages are clipped if you're trying to render out the entire video. All pages need to be selected. That means that every single clip that you put in is going to be rendered out. And if you have the free version, I believe you're limited to 1080p, which is fine. A lot of people upload YouTube videos at 1080p. That's perfectly fine. I did until recently. But if you upload it in 4K or 2K, you can crank this higher all the way up to 4K. But again, 1080p is fine. A lot of people upload in 1080p. And the format type, MP4 video, that's fine. And when you're ready, simply go to download the clip. It's going to render the clip out. It's eventually going to pop up a window and ask you where you want to save the video. You save the video to that location, either on your desktop or on a hard drive. And then you go to that clip when you're finished and you upload it to YouTube. And if you want to learn even more about how to become a better creator, click on the video that's showing on the screen right now. That video is going to help you do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.